Right, welcome, guys. This is Breakfast with the Brand, the number one podcast in the world for entrepreneurs and leaders who want to go from bland to industry leading brand. If you're tuned in live, go ahead, put it in the chat. Let us know where you're listening in from. I have with me, as usual, the king of branding himself, Mr. Sean Raiz, and we're going to get into a very phenomenal show for you today. All right, so Sean, how
Yes,
you feeling?
yes. I'm always feeling phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. No complaints whatsoever. Ready to go, ready to brand, ready to get the business, ready to
That's right.
grow. Let's go. Put it in the chat if you guys are ready to grow. Yeah. You guys are
Yes,
ready to
sir.
grow. Let's go.
Yes, sir. I just want to say good morning to everybody viewing. So I know we have a couple people on YouTube. So YouTube, shout out to you. We have some people inside the group.
So,
If you're in the $1 billion brand group right now, just put a number one in the comments. If you're in the $1 billion brand group, put a number one. We also have, I think, LinkedIn in the building, right? So
LinkedIn is
LinkedIn is there as well.
LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and IG. And
Okay, nice.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Nice. By the way, guys, this is being streamed live. So if you have any questions, then just put them in the comments and we will be happy to
It's
answer
live.
them.
Watch this, guys. Just so you know, like it's live, right? So yeah, that's what live means, right? Super live.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Exactly. So Sean, today what I wanted to really touch on is really the journey. I know most people are in the beginning phases of their brand. And for most entrepreneurs, that looks like the basics, which is going from 0 to 6 figures, right?
Mm.
So today we'll be talking about what does it take to go from 0 to 6 figures using your influencer brand. Just some of the lessons that you've learned along the way, some takeaways, some gems that you could share with somebody else. And we'll be getting into a lot of it, guys. So trust me, like I know we always talk about building a 7 figure brand, but before you can get to seven, you have to get to six. Before you can get to six, you have to get to five. And that's what we'll be talking about today.
That's right.
Yes, sir. So by the way, we add you for a break in the next 60 seconds. However, guys, get your questions ready. When we come back, we'll be talking about how to go from 0 to 6 figures using your influencer brand. Stay tuned.
Let's grow. It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile. He's just very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaway just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
All right. So I believe you said 0 to 6, right? 0 to 6. How many people want to go from 0 to 100, right? Let me shout out Virginie. We connected on Facebook, so she's in the $1 billion community watching this, the $1 billion brand community watching this, shout out to you. I just wanted to acknowledge you, right? 0 to 6 figures, number one, you have to have kind of what I talked about yesterday, and that's setting the huge expectation. What is the goal? What is the long-term goal? What is the vision? If you don't have a vision, if you don't have a target, if you don't have daily activities, monthly, weekly activities, hourly activities, you're already there. You're already there, guys. And you know, there's a difference between service and salary. A lot of people say, I'm doing the work, Sean, I'm serving the people, I'm doing the activity, but you're not getting the revenue, you're not getting the results. And if you're not getting the results, you'll never get 6 figures. I just want to be honest with you. You'll never get there without having a clear, defined offer. Let me go back. Ideal client, who you're speaking to, ideal client, offer, and then activity. You have to have an ideal client. You have to know who you're speaking to. You can't just come out here talking crazy. You got to know who you're talking to, and you got to know what you're talking about, right? And it's super interesting. I'll give you an example. I was speaking to the young lady this morning, and watch this. She's from a different country. She's from a different country, and because she's from a different country, her name is situated on her profile differently. But I didn't know that. So I was calling her by her last name. And then she explained to me and let me know, oh no, that's the way it's set up. That's my family's name. And that's how we do things in this culture. I said, oh, wow. Okay. So let me apologize for that and call you by your first name, which to us in America look like the last name, right? So that's what you guys are doing. You're going in the marketplace and you're talking almost a foreign language, and you're trying to attract your ideal client. So you're talking in English, but the person's listening in Japanese. You don't have the market mind yet. And you have to have the market. You have to know the language, which means you have to do research. If you don't do research, then you're shooting blindly or you're shooting blanks. And you're not going to get there. You're not. So number one comes research. Who is your ideal client? What language do they speak? What is their greatest fear? What is their greatest desires? Once you know that, what are you going to offer them? We're going to talk about this today heavily in the Leadership Leverage. What are you offering them? So people say, I do coaching. Coaching is not really something that you do. Right? So people say, I do coaching. If a person comes to me and says, I want to offer coaching, then I already know that's not the person for me, right? Because I am a coach and I don't need coaching. So you have to define what is it that you serve? What market segment do you serve? What value do you provide and where? If a person says, so I was speaking to somebody yesterday and they said that to me, I do coaching. I said, okay. I understand the lack of direct understanding here. Let me expand it. Let me elevate it. Let me open it up and let me unpack it. I said, okay, what kind of coaching do you do? Because in my case, I am an executive coach for leadership development. My specialization is personal branding. I help people become better thinkers, better business owners, get more revenue, put zeros behind their numbers, get on stage, close bigger deals. So where is your competency? And then he was able to come back to me and tell me a little bit more about what he did and unpack it a little bit more and get some clarity on it. Because when you say I'm a coach, just like I said in the video, when you say I'm a coach, you lump yourself in with a million different coaches. There's nothing unique about you. There's no brand differentiation. And right now, everything is about brand differentiation. What makes you different? What makes you different? So, ideal client, offer. You need to have an offer. And once you have an offer, guys, you need a daily activity that you're using to secure revenue. You have to secure revenue. People say, okay, I got the course, Sean. I got the course. I know who I serve. I serve women who, I serve men who, I serve professionals who, and the course is called this. Okay, now what? That sounds great. What is your marketing plan? How are you attracting and acquiring and retaining clients and revenue? That's the third part. That's how you get from 0 to 6. It's not just saying, waking up one day and saying, I want to do business. I want to do what guys are doing on the internet.
Very nice. One thing that you said that's I believe is super important is the daily activity. Somebody asked me a question yesterday. They said, "Well, I want to serve this specific population, but I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing. I'm not achieving the results." And then what I said to them was, you have to separate the so branding has an emotional appeal because you want to serve, and a lot of times people come from a purpose driven space, so they feel like, okay, this is my purpose is to serve this population or that population.
Mm,
But we can get wrapped up in purpose a lot and forget the logic. The logic is the numbers, and then that's where people get confused because they're like, I want to serve this person or this population. I know exactly what I want to offer. I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, I'm a this, I'm a that, but I don't see myself achieving results, and it feels like I'm spinning my wheels in the mud. And I tell them, yeah, because what are your daily numbers? So daily numbers are pretty simple. How many people are you contacting per day? How many bookings are you doing per day? How many attempts? If you're on the phone, how many calls are you making per day? So talk a little bit about the balance between the emotional appeal, the emotional side, which is the purpose driven side
love
of
it.
building a brand, and then also the not technological, but the actual, now you have to do something side of
Okay.
building a brand.
So the terminology shifts, right? The terminology shifts. There's a bad connotation being given to entrepreneurs, and it's one of emotions. So you have the emotional entrepreneur and the data-driven, evidence-based business owner. You want to acknowledge where you exist in this segmentation and make sure you're on the right side of it. You have the emotional entrepreneur and you have the data-driven, evidence-based business owner. The emotional entrepreneur is led by his heart alone. He says, I want to save the world. They come from, and I've been here, so just so you're aware, I've been here. I've been in the emotional entrepreneur space. I said, I want to serve the people where I come from, and I want to serve them in this capacity. I wanted to serve the underserved populations. I come from a counseling background, psychosocial background, social services background. So I said, I want to save the people, the underserved population. But watch this. The underserved population was underserved. So what does that mean? They didn't have the capital. They didn't have the money. So I found myself serving for free. I found myself just giving it away all of the time. Now it's okay to do something like this, to do a live, to do what's called a lead magnet or a lead engagement system. That's phenomenal. But when you're consistently giving hours and hours and days and weeks and months of just free, you're not doing the numbers. You're not doing the data. You're not doing business. You're doing charity. You're doing charity, guys. So I want you to look in your bank account and determine and look at your hourly log. Look at your hours. So time is money and money is time. Look at your hours like you look at your dollars. Where are you spending them? Where are you investing them? If you invest your hours the right way, they will pay you back in dollars. Simple, very simple. If you invest your time, your hours, your critical moments throughout the day in critical actions, then you will see results in your bank account. If you don't, then you won't. So if you've been doing charity, business is hard. Business is not what it could be. You're stuck. There's a ceiling. There's no sunroof. It's a ceiling and you're stuck there. 5K, 10K, it doesn't make a difference what the ceiling is. For you to go from 5 to 10, from 10 to 20, from 20 to 50 takes serious consideration, and then decision, and then targeting around the ideal client. And that's based on data. That's data driven. That's evidence based. Person told me, phenomenal client. She said, I made 20K last year. I said, okay. So how did you make it? She told me the actions that she took. I said, are you taking those actions now? He said, not so much. I said, when you find success, you repeat the actions that found you the success. So if you run a challenge and you get a couple clients, and then you don't run another challenge, where do you expect the clients to come from? You don't dig a hole in the ground and find water and then try to dig a fresh hole. It doesn't make any sense. If there's water coming out of this activity, then you reproduce the activity. That's what scaling is. Scaling is not doing more and more and more and more and more unless it's more of the same. Scaling is finding a systematized, automated way to do the same thing simply, where it doesn't require you. That's scaling. People think of scaling up. I want you to think of scaling back and getting 2 times, 3 times, 10 times the results in 1/2 the time, doing 1/3 of the effort. That's scale. You have your freedom, you have more money, and you have more impact.
Guys, we're due for a short break, but when we come back, we're going to be going more into scaling, into building your brand. Stay tuned. If you have any questions, please hold those questions. We'll be right back after the short break. Let's go.
I said Sean Ra'is. I'm proud. That's Sean Ra'is. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. Business is like a game of chess. It's not checkers. If you don't know how to lead with a personal brand, then you're losing the battle.
Everything about Sean's talk was fantastic. I mean, I got so much from it.
So he was really bringing fire and passion and just love and spirit to let everybody else know how do you become a leader amongst the leaders.
You hold the key in your hand. There is more power in this phone than there was that took the first man to the moon.
His energy, his dynamic information, gave a really great presentation.
I didn't ask for any money. I didn't have an offer. I had a heart to help people and meet them where they were at and find their need and fulfill it.
Sean is the bomb.
All right.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, we are back. Welcome back to Breakfast with the Brand. Sean, you spoke about some very interesting things there before we got off, and I actually made a couple notes. Now, I wanted to ask you, What about attention? And let me explain. You see, a lot of people who are just getting started, they have many tasks, which means that they have many things that they feel they need to do. So some people always tell me, well, yeah, I hear what you're saying. I want to implement the strategy. However, I have this to do, and I have that to do, and I have this to do, and I have that to do. And what I've found that the beginning entrepreneurs struggle with the most is managing attention, meaning managing or deciding where do I actually place my attention? Because even if you have 10 things to do, honestly, there are just 10 things to do. So, what do you have a formula to decide, okay, where do I place my attention? Which task deserves my attention, or which task is going to move me closer to the ultimate goal or whatever target that I've set for the month?
I'm
What
so
would you
glad.
recommend for entrepreneurs?
I'm so glad that you asked me that question. It might sound complex, but I promise you it's not. So I taught something 3 years ago called Torque. TORQ. Torque System of Time Mastery. And the TOR goes backwards. So it's TORQ. Torque means speed, right? But torque, when you take the TOR and you reverse it, you've got results, objectives, tactics. Simple. Results, objectives, and tactics. Again, it comes back to what I said in the beginning. What results are you trying to achieve? That's where you start. What is the desired result? If you're just doing stuff, nothing is going to work for you if you're just running around doing stuff. What is the objective? What is the result that you're looking for? And then what is the objective? How is it going to sit in your business? What is this long-term strategy? So watch this. The result is you want to earn $40,000 a week. $40,000 a week. Okay. What is the real objective? The real objective might be to leave your job, right? The real objective is to leave your job, reclaim your freedom, The result that you're looking for is $40K a week. What is the tactic now? The tactic has to be, okay, do I sell 40 things for $1,000? Do I sell 5 things? Do I sell 8 things for 5K? Do I sell 1 thing for 40K? Do I sell 2 things for 20K? What does that look like? The tactic, the marketing. And then the quantum. How do I pour gasoline on it? How can I pour gasoline on it? So for me, let me give you an example of what that looks like. The result that was desired last year was to get back on the speaking circuit. That was it. That was the goal. Get back on the speaking circuit. What was the objective? The objective was to differentiate myself as not just a speaker, not just a coach, or not just a speaker or a coach, but to a professional speaker who travels and speaks, because I hadn't been on stage since prior to pandemic. That was the objective, to establish the differentiation. So what was the tactic? The tactic was consistent outreach, consistent follow-up, and consistent booking engagements. And we also did the book SeanRyeEast.com website. Those were the tactics that we took in order to accomplish the objective. And as you can see, we have the results. Now, the quantum piece was hiring people to do it for me, formulating the system, and then hiring people to implement the system. So now the results, I knew what the result was. I knew what the outcome looked like. I knew what the objective was. I knew what the tactic was. Once I figured that out, I poured gasoline on it by giving it to someone else. That's torque, time mastery. Now, if you're starting out and you don't have access to other people, you have to implement it yourself first. But what you heard when I spoke was a system. A system. Set the desired result. How does it fit into your strategy and objective long term? And then decide what you're going to do and then do it. That's it. That's the quantum piece. The quantum piece is not doing 10 things at once. The quantum piece is eliminating all of the other browsers on your computer. Don't even have them up. Because if you got Facebook up while you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, it's going to say ding, and you're going to go over there to see who told you something in Messenger. Eliminate all distraction so you can focus. You're building a brand. And if your brand isn't on brand consistently, but you're like what do they call those? Like a lightning bug, you're all over the place. You know, you flash over here, then you flash over there, then you flash over here. People can't follow you.
Yes, sir. You know, that word system, that's pretty important. Most and this is the thing, most entrepreneurs, when they get started, they tell me, well, I don't have the right system. But you said something there, that I think is very important to elaborate on. So you gave a system, but the system isn't what most entrepreneurs would imagine a system to be. So most people think a system is something like Calendly, or a system is something like HubSpot or Facebook ad.
No.
So there are guys there, what you call a hard system. So a computer is a hard system. Facebook ad is a hard system. And then there's what you call a soft system, which is a process. So a soft system is a process. So what Sean was talking about is a process or a way of thinking. So for somebody who's just starting up, just in the beginning phases of building their brand, how much of success relies on, number one, hard systems, meaning that the actual like Canva, Calendly, Zoom, like these types of technology, like the hard systems, and how much of success would you say relies on the soft systems, which is the other side, which is the processes?
I love the question. The answer is 100%. 100%. In the beginning, it's 100% you. It's 100% soft system, because if you can't make a decision and then have the discipline, you're going to fail at everything. If you can't make a decision and have the discipline, your marriage is going to be shot. Your health is going to be shot. Every piece of cake is going to overpower you, right? Every time you see the pillow, you're going to go to sleep. If you can't make a decision and then have the discipline, you'll never implement a hard system. You have to think, guys. Hard systems are created to replicate soft systems. The computer represents your thoughts and your ability to compute. The phone replicates your voice and your ability to communicate. All of these different hard systems, simply this microphone, all it does is make my voice louder. It projects it and it clarifies it better. The lights, all it does is sees me brighter. The camera sees me. These are hard systems to replicate the soft systems. If you don't have your soft systems in check, you'll never be able to run hard systems. People ask me all the time, Sean, what CRM should I use? You got five emails. Who cares? You don't need a CRM. You need to contact those people, and you need to get 10 more, and then 10 more, and then 10 more. Don't talk to me about a CRM until you got 100 and 150 leads. You need an Excel spreadsheet. You need a piece of paper, and you need to be able to write them down. And then you need to be able to go get more and add to that list. If you can't do that, if you can't lay brick on top of brick on top of brick, don't talk to me about mixing cement. And don't talk to me about hiring people. And don't talk to me about scaling a business. You need to build a brand, and brands are built with work. Brands are built based on you and your consistency. So 3 things, 3 soft systems that you absolutely need that are critical to any success in your brand, in your business, in your personal life or profession. Number 1, the ability to make a decision. The ability to make a decision. That's one of the hardest things in the world. You ask people, who do they want to serve? And they don't know. You ask people, what do they want to do? How do they want to serve? And they don't know. You ask people, what is the outcome that you want? And they don't know. And that's why they're stuck. They're only stuck because they can't decide. And then once they decide, what's required next is discipline. Okay, I say I want to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. The next thing is discipline, turning on the alarm. And then when the alarm goes off, actually getting up, not reaching over and hitting the snooze button. If I have that discipline, if I can set the decision and then have the discipline, the half of the battle is won. The rest of the battle is doing it tomorrow and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. And that's the third key, and that's consistency. You have to be consistent. You have to be durable. Success in business is not a sprint. It's a marathon. You have to be here in the third lap, or you'll be successful for a moment and fizzle out.
That's right. Guys, if you have any questions while viewing this, go ahead, put them in the chat. So you said the word here, decide.
Yes.
Well, I wanna put it this way, right? So most people tell me, well, I don't have the information to decide. I don't know what, it's not like they don't know, like, how do I find my ideal client? So in some circumstances, maybe they don't have access to the information to make a firm decision. Because they're not brand strategists, right? In most cases. So what would you say to people who say, well, hey, Sean, I'd love to make a decision, but hey, I don't know how do I go about deciding? It's not like they don't want to decide an ideal client.
Click on the link. Click on the link. Go to the link. Go to the link. So we pay for access to information. We pay for access. It's like a toll bridge. It's like a toll bridge or a toll, right? To go from the Bronx to Manhattan, you pay a toll to get there. To get access to Manhattan, you pay a toll. As you drive down the I-95, you pay tolls to continue. That's what it looks like, guys. You have to pay the toll to get access to the land, access to the resources, access to the right information. Or you're going to be scouring YouTube for years, months, and days. And that's okay. You do what you got to do while you can do it. But if you want to shortcut, if you want to circumvent the process, then you pay for access. You pay for access. So this is the paid link where you go straight to the course where we teach you about your ideal client, teach you how to attract your ideal client, teach you how to position yourself, teach you how to brand yourself, teach you how to dress, teach you how to speak, teach you where to go. And then there's the free code, livedeepdive.com. You come to the livedeepdive.com on Saturdays, you register on the livedeepdive.com, and then on Saturdays, 5 p.m., we'll walk you through that. Either way, you have to show up. Either way, you have to decide. And either way, you have to then have the discipline. And then let me tell you this, you will not get it all in one call. You won't get it all in one call. Education is a never-ending process. It is a never-ending process. I am still learning. I am still in college. I am still required to learn. If I've got a certification, watch this. If I've got a certification, I have to continue to go to school every 8 months, every 6 months, every 2 years, every 3 years to prove that I'm still adequate and competent in what has changed. And if I don't do that, then I lose the credential that it might have taken me 6 years to get. So guys, you get a client. You get a client, you're like, I'm making money. All right, great. And you sit down. And you wait for the next one to come. And that's not the way it works. You get one, you got to go get the next, you got to go get the next, you got to go get the next. And then you have to learn the next system. Okay, I'm getting clients, I'm speaking to them, I'm coaching them. Now, how do I create SOPs? How do I create an online course? How do I create a system of monthly recurring revenue so it doesn't have to be me chasing the next deal all the time? So if I don't close a new contract, I don't eat. So how do I turn all of these different clients and contracts into a monthly recurring revenue model where I don't have to chase and don't have to run? This is what we teach. This is how you do it. And the only way you're going to learn it is by becoming a part of a system. Doesn't have to be ours, but get yourself inside of an ecosystem that teaches this so that you're not hustling, running around in circles, beating yourself up.
100%. 100%. We are due for a short break. So let's take that short break, Sean. And when we come back, we'll be talking about the business model. Again, guys, if you want to learn more about that, go to the link, brandedlikealeader.com. It has all the information you need to get to where you want to go. Let's grow.
Let's grow. You know, there's nothing that you cannot overcome in this world except that which you refuse to fight. When I say brand, when I say brand and authenticity and being the brand, you gotta know your story. You gotta know your story. You gotta own your story, and you gotta be the champion of your story. It's very important that we control our narrative. It's very important that we don't allow anyone else to control our narrative, because when they control our narrative, they control our freedom. They control our freedom and our future. I don't just want it for me, I want it for everybody. It can happen, and it can happen for you, especially when you get branded like a leader. I don't talk theory, I don't talk hyperbole, I don't talk opinion. Nothing I talk is anything but evidence-based.
During the G-Circle retreat in Atlanta, I had the pleasure and the honor of listening to Mr. Sean Rais. He will not only impact your organization, but he will elevate your team to another level.
When you change you, when you put you into the equation, the whole system is different. I guarantee you, you got the right thing. You are the right person. If you can present yourself in the best way possible, there's no negotiation.
His energy is infectious, and I have so many takeaways from the presentation that I can't wait to get started and implement them today to see the result.
All right. We are back. What are the last questions? Let's wrap this up strong, man. What's the last question?
Let's see. So the last question is basically walk us through the model that you would recommend. Same one where we taught in coaching like a leader. So a lot of people are aspiring coaches. They're looking to get into the online marketing space. What would you recommend as a model that they can sort of emulate or follow when it comes to getting into that space?
Again, it goes back to what do you want out of it? You set your intention and then you begin the repetition, right? So, just super simple example. Today, for me, I worked out. I worked out in the morning. I did chest, right? I had to set the intention before I start the repetition, right? So I had to set the intention before I start the repetition. A lot of people are repping. A lot of people are busy. There's a lot of busyness, but there's very little business. There's a lot of people just doing stuff and hoping that it works. It's all tactical. Everything that people are doing right now is tactical. It's not strategic. There is no 20-year goal. There's no 20-year goal. People don't think that far. So they don't reverse engineer a process that is sustainable. That's where it begins, guys. I promise you, it doesn't begin in what you see. What you see here and what you see that influencers do, businesses do, all play a part in a longer mosaic, in a longer laid out strategy. And you have to have one of those longer laid out strategies, one of those battle plans. I want you to think that way. Battle plan. I say it all the time. War, like business is war. Business is war. You're fighting a fight and there are opposing forces. There's land to be won. There's men, women, and children. There's land to be won. Use this terminology: conquer, fortify, and domesticate. These guys are just trying to conquer. They just running around like Vikings, just doing stuff. I'm gonna do this, 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 I'm gonna do this. Trying to look for money. I need money. I need a sale. I need a sale. I need a sale. But that's as far as the strategy goes. The sale. And that's why people are always chasing the next sale, the next sale, the next sale, the next sale. It's the story of your life. And for many entrepreneurs, it's the story of their death and the story of the death of their business and the story of the death of their brand. Because they don't have a long-term vision. They don't have a vision long-term enough to sustain the hard times, the winters in business. When things don't go your way, what keeps you motivated? What keeps you going? It has to be the long-term vision. That's what keeps you going from saying, I'm going to just go get a job. I'm going to just go get a job. This stuff is too hard. But watch this, guys. When you go get a job, all you're doing is you're buying into someone else's vision. The owner of the organization where you could go and get a job and get paid had a vision. They built a business based on that vision. Your paycheck is a result of that vision. The fact that you wake up comfortable in the morning and say, I've got somewhere to go. My kids are going to eat tomorrow. I just have to sit down and do what I'm told. That's someone else's vision that worked. So you can literally have your own vision that works. And then in 20 years, have someone who isn't even born yet. In 30 years, 25 years, have someone who isn't even born yet now walk into your vision, sit down and do what they're told and get a paycheck and know where their kids are going to eat from. You have to have the vision. That is the heart. That's the mind work. The tactical stuff is easy, guys. It's easy to go live. It's easy to convince someone to give you some money. That's not the hard part. The reason why it's hard for you is because you don't have a bigger vision. The tactical stuff is easy when the strategy is well laid out. When the strategy is not laid out, then everything is panic mode. Everything is panic mode. To speak to the tactic now, that's the strategy. right? That's the strategy. Once you have the strategy, then we'll get to the tactic. The first tactic that you want to do is research. That's the first tactic that you want to do is research. And then when you research the market, research the landscape, research your competitors, research the expectation. What does the money look like here? What's the volatility of the market here? What is the retention? What does it take to acquire a client? How fast do you retain? How long do you retain them? What does the turnover look like? Then you have to say, okay, there's this competency, this competency, there's a lot of people talking about this, a lot of people talking about this, and a lot of people talking about this. What am I going to talk about? What is my specialty going to be? Because I can't be like everybody else. I can't be like this person can't be like me. I have to decide. There's the decision piece again. Remember I gave those three: decision, discipline, consistency. Then you have to decide, okay, I'm going to be a confidence coach. Okay, I'm going to coach people on how to speak. Okay, I'm going to be a career coach and coach people on how to get a promotion. Once you make that decision, now you have to have the discipline to begin to express and expound and proliferate the marketplace with the research that you've done, right? So the research, then the decision, then the discipline to turn into evidence, turn into homework. What we're doing is we're turning in the homework on branding. We're turning in the homework on the business model. This is the research that I've done for years. High performance, industrial and organizational psychology, organizational development and change. You cannot exist in this space without a level of education, experience, and expertise. You have to be an expert in something. You cannot be a generalist and expect to survive the long haul. It won't happen. So decision and then discipline to do the work. Put the work out consistently. People say, oh, I look at people's business media and it looks like social media. Sometimes they're on there, sometimes they're off of there. You know, they're doing business for 2 minutes or 2 days or 2 weeks, and then there's cakes and kids and pets. And it's like, what happened to the business? What happened to the business was they didn't have the discipline. They couldn't keep it up long enough to make a dent. Listen, guys, pressure busts pipes. There's a thing called Chinese water torture. There's a thing called Chinese water torture, where they literally put someone's head under a drop of water. Boop, boop, boop. And it drives the person crazy. And if they stay there long enough, the water goes through the cranium. The same way rain creates mountains. That's the consistency. So you have the discipline to do the work, and then you have to be consistent. So what does consistency require? Consistency really requires faith in things unseen, Junior. You've got to have the belief. You've got to have the faith. You've got to have the tenacity. Those things that I talk about in the 7 prerequisites of success, you've got to have the faith. You've got to have the faith and the belief that it's going to work, that it's working now, that it's working. When I first started going live, if I didn't have faith and belief to keep me consistent, I would have stopped. And if I would have stopped, you wouldn't know about Sean Rais and you wouldn't know about the brand. But you know about Sean Rais and you know about the brand because I believed in things that were unseen. I said, I know what I got is going to work. I know what I got is going to work. My spirit doesn't lie to me. I know what I got is going to work. And I kept working it. And I kept working it. And I kept posting when no one was responding. And I kept giving lives when no one was listening. And I kept working. And I kept calling. And I kept emailing. And I kept writing. And I kept speaking. And I kept shooting the videos. And I kept putting them up. And I kept posting them. And I kept sharing them. And I kept, and I kept, and I kept. No matter who slept, I kept. And when it finally bust, you can be very, very pleased with yourself because you had the faith and the belief to be consistent and to work hard to bring to fruition that which was unseen. It's your dream now. Nobody else knows it. You're the best kept secret. The world needs to know it. The only way they're going to learn it is through that. that Chinese water torture, that consistency. Think of the rain. When the rain comes, it comes as one drop, boom, 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 and then the shower.
Yes, sir. Sean, I think we could end on that. That was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Guys, listen, this has been Breakfast with the Brand. Thank you so much for the tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a phenomenal day.
Let's grow. Let's grow. Let's grow, guys. Don't forget, you have to be the person, and you have to have consistency, and you have to continue to push when nobody's listening, when no one's paying attention. Let's grow. I said Sean Raiz. I'm proud. Sean Raiz. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes.